Hey everybody, welcome to the show. It's the Tea Is For Tracy. We are back on a new night, Monday night. So let's see how this works out. I am glad to be here tonight, you guys. It's your girl, Tracy, aka your favorite motherless child. Y'all know I got mommy issues, okay? But it's okay because we healing over here. And I I wanted to talk about tonight, you guys. My topic is main character syndrome. We're talking about them people. Yes, we are talking about them people. People who have to be the main character in everybody's story. In their story, in your story, in his story, or wherever. Wherever they go. If they go to a birthday party and it's your birthday, they have to be the main character. What is that? What is that? Have you ever dealt with someone, a coworker, or a friend, a spouse, or a mate, boyfriend or girlfriend? Anyone? Have you ever dealt with anyone, a sibling, that has to be the main character in everybody's story? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about recognizing someone that has to be the main character. Let's talk about how to deal with a person that has to be the main character, and how to recognize it, because it can go undetected if you don't know what you're looking for, or if you're just not paying attention. Okay, so main character syndrome. So story time. I always got a story for every topic that I talk about. One time it was my birthday, and I was with some friends, and we were celebrating my birthday. We was out on town, you know, drinking, eating, having fun. And sometime throughout that night, I can't remember how it happened, but there was a birthday cake. We always got to have us a birthday cake. So somebody blew out my candle on my birthday cake. Like, like, how you gonna blow out my candle? When they say happy birthday and they tell you to make a wish, and then when it's time for you to close your eyes and make a wish, somebody else blows out the candle. Okay? Back when that happened, everybody just laughed. I even laughed. I was like, girl, you done blew out my candle. It was funny. But when you think about it, why would someone want to blow out the candle on your cake? First of all, I don't want your hot breath on my cake. Okay? Second of all, that's just rude. It's rude. It's out loud rude. So I laughed it off at the time, not knowing that this person has main character syndrome. So if someone is talking about anybody besides said person, said main character, then it's going to be an issue. It's going to be a problem. They're going to, you just have to pay attention to certain gestures. Like if you're talking and people, what irritates me is when I'm talking to someone and they start scrolling on their phone while I'm talking to them. Okay? Because, you can get lost while you scrolling. And you ain't paying attention to nothing nobody's saying except for what's going on their phone. So that pay attention to certain type of behaviors when you're around certain people. Pay attention to people who show up to your birthday party. They may show up to your birthday party late, and then they may leave early. Pay attention to that type of stuff. Pay attention to when people are giving you a compliment, and that person that got that main character syndrome, somebody, say for example, somebody compliments you on your outfit. Say you got on a cute outfit, and everybody goes around and say, well, girl, yeah, that's a cute outfit. I knew she was gonna be cute for her birthday. She showed out. You know how people like to show out and dress up for your birthday. And Then you get to said person, that main character person, and they gonna say something like, yeah, that's a cute outfit, but I don't know if I would have wore them shoes. Okay. So, okay. Well, you could have kept that comment to yourself. Okay. That's a person that they they obviously don't like the fact that you're getting complimented. They don't like the fact that everybody don't run around the table and said you got a cute outfit on. And you agreed that the outfit is cute, but then you gonna still throw a little bit of shade. Like, oh yeah, that outfit's cute, but I don't know about them shoes. Okay. That's because they're not the main character. They're not the main character. Okay. That's a hater. That's somebody who's secretly hating on you. They give backside, I like to call them backsided compliments, or they're going they're going to compliment you, but they're going to have something negative to say as well. Okay? That's because you're getting loved on. People are telling you happy birthday. Sometimes people wear the money, they pin the money on there. Now me, I'm the type of person, I never like to do that, attaching the money onto your clothes and stuff. I don't like to bring attention to myself like that. But one day, my girlfriend, I don't think it was my girlfriend, I think it was my kids who talked me into, putting some money on my clothes. And I ended up getting so much money that day. Just people was telling me happy birthday, giving me $5 here, $2 here, $3. I mean, those good old dollars be adding up. Okay. And then you look over there at said person, the one that's, it's got main character syndrome. Oh, you still do that? You still put money on you? I ain't did that since I was in high school. Okay. That's a person that has insecurities. Okay. And they want you to dumb yourself down to they want you to become small so that they can become the main character. That was the whole point of them blowing out the candle on the cake, because it doesn't matter what kind of attention they get as long as they're the main character. So it can be negative attention. People gonna be like, girl, she was wrong for doing that. Why she blow out that candle? She wrong for that. She wrong for that shit. And some people get off on that because you're talking about them. Now we have switched the whole conversation. Nobody's talking about anybody's birthday. Nobody's talking about anybody's outfit. Nobody's doing none of that. All they're doing is talking about, girl, why she blow that candle out? She know it ain't her birthday. Okay. So what we've done is we've made her inadvertently, we have made that said person the main character, which is what they wanted to do in the first place. Because they have main character syndrome. They need to be the main character. So that's what main character syndrome is. It's about little bitty things that you sometimes in the moment when it's happening, you be thinking, that's so petty. She's not like that. Yeah. If it's a pattern of behavior, okay? Just say, for example, that same said main character syndrome person, you're out at a bar, and you're single women out at the bar, hanging out, having a good time. And then a gentleman comes up and starts speaking to anyone besides that main character. Okay. The one that wants to be the main character. So if they come up, say, for example, they came up and they started talking to my homegirl that was out with me, and, sparked up a conversation. And the one that's standing on the sideline that has main character syndrome starts talking to the gentleman that came up and started talking to your friend, saying, oh, honey, she's just got a divorce, and she's got 3 kids, and, she's navigating, the single life. Honey, you don't want them type of problems. Okay. Well, he wasn't coming over here to talk to you. He was coming over here to talk to your friend. And if your friend wanted him to know that information, she's very capable of having a conversation with this man. First of all, she's jealous because he came over there and started talking to the friend and not talking to her. Okay. He done probably offered to buy a drink. See, I hate them type of friends. Them type of friends who, you know, you go out and a gentleman comes up and he starts talking to you. And then she feels like, well, he's obligated to buy me a drink just like he's going to buy her a drink. If he offers you a drink, that doesn't mean that you got to pass it around the table or you got to buy my homegirl a drink. I haven't did that since, shoot, in my 20s, you know? So why are you worried about what they talking about? Because you're not the main character. He wasn't interested in you. So this man probably seen homegirl across the room and said, oh, this looks like somebody who I might want to spark up a conversation with. You know, ain't nobody trying to get married. You just met the man. Okay. But since you're not the main character, it's a problem. So you're going to start hating. I used to let shit like that slide. I am so aware now of people's energy, people's negativity. It just seeps in their pores. You can just tell when somebody is just they're just aching to be the main character. Okay, they can't sit still. You know, they might even get up and start dancing or shaking their ass so the man can start looking at them. I mean, it's just so much goes into it. You have to really, really pay attention. So how do you navigate those type of situations? How do you determine that that's what this really is? This person has an issue because they're not the center of attention. Okay. So they're going to start, you know, maybe telling stories about themselves or, you know, talking about their accomplishments, you know, we ain't asking nothing. They're just, you know, having a whole conversation basically with themselves about themselves. Okay. So that they making themselves that main character, you guys, the main character. So how do you deal with that? What if it's a coworker? What if it's a coworker that is jealous of your achievements at work, or maybe they jealous of your work ethic, you know, maybe they jealous of, you know, of what you wear to work. Maybe they jealous because you get attention at work and they have to be the main character. So how would you deal with that? I'm sorry. How would you deal with that, you guys? Main character syndrome. Have you ever dealt with it? What I do is, say, for example, if I know that there's someone who has main character syndrome and I want to tell them something. And because, you know, if you tell somebody that has main character syndrome something, they're going to either disagree with it or, you know, shut you down like you don't know what you're talking about. So a good way that I've learned to deal with it is, you know, starting the conversation off with, I know you may already know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Okay. So that right there takes your control back. It gives you control of the situation because you already know they're going to either say something negative or say, oh, that's something I've never heard of, or that's not true, or I already knew that. I know that. You're not telling me nothing I don't already know. Okay. And they really don't know it. They really don't know. So how I would deal with that is, yeah, I know you probably already know, or like I used to tell my friend when guys would try to talk to me, she would always have something negative to say about him. Well, girl, he dogged his ex-girlfriend out and you know, this, that, and then the other, you know, just, you know, putting negative thoughts in my head about said person. So, or she would say something like, oh, well, he tried to talk to me, or he tried to talk to so-and-so. You know, don't feel special because he tried to talk to me too. Okay. So what I would do when I kept getting that response, when I would tell her about someone trying to approach me or whatever, so I would switch it up and I would say, well, girl, I know he probably tried to holler at you too. But let me tell you, he tried, he tried to talk to me, you know. And that right there is that's gonna piss him off. That's gonna piss them off because they think you playing with them, you know. But you have to deal with them like that because you already know that they're gonna come with something negative, something you know, something, oh, I've never heard of that, just something negative, you know. That's the type of people that you really want to have low contact with these type of people. If they're in your family and you know how they are, they're going to turn that main event. If it's your birthday, if it's your wedding, if it's your kid's birthday, anything, your anniversary, you know, and they start talking about themselves, you know that it's certain environments that I'm not going to invite you to. I'm just going to stop inviting you because I'm not going to be uncomfortable at my event because you want to be the center of attention. Jealous, and I know a lot of dudes like that. You know what, Tate? You ain't never lied. It be some hating ass dudes out here just as much as hating ass females. And I know a few of them. I know a few of them. So you're absolutely correct with that. But I mean, jealousy, and it's that quiet type of jealousy that me, I rather know what I'm dealing with. Okay. If you don't like me, because look, just because this is the tea is for Tracy, I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's shot of whiskey. Okay. So I'd rather know what I'm dealing with. Okay. That way I know how to move around you. Now, if you just sitting back and you a quiet hater, those are the ones that are dangerous. Okay. Those are the ones who have you ever defended somebody? Like you defended somebody, like you went hard on defending somebody. And then you find out that the person that you was defending is the one that stabbed you in your back. Let that sink in. I'm gonna say it again. Have you ever defended somebody, like went ham, like, nah, this person ain't did that. I know their character. I know them. Shoot, we've been, we go way back. That's my day one. That's my A1 from day one. You defending them because that's the type of person you are. Me, I, if you my friend, I go hard for you. Ain't nobody gonna be able to mention your name in no negative way when I'm in the room. I'm gonna protect your name when you're not in the room. Okay, that's the type of friend that I am. That's the type of friend that I am. And so if you can't give me that same energy, because I know it's people who sit in the room and when my name come up, you can be completely out the way. You can be completely out the way, and your name gonna still come up. Your name gonna still come up. Okay. So how do you navigate that? And it's so it's so prevalent. It's like because it's people who are secretly jealous of you. They could be your family member. They could be your sister. They could be your mama. They could be your cousin. They could be your grandmama. You know, how do you deal with that? I deal with it, like I said, certain environments I'm not going to invite you to, and I know you gonna show out. You gonna wanna be the center of attention. If it's my birthday, I celebrate my birthday with people who celebrate me. If you ain't celebrating me, then we cool. I ain't gotta have no big party. I ain't gotta have a whole bunch of people celebrating with me. But the people that I got celebrating with me, I know they celebrating with me for real. When you love me for real. Love me for real. All that, faking it, showing up just to see what you got on, and so that they can go back and whisper behind your back, you know, that's that's dead. That's dead. That's main character syndrome, you guys. Like I said, you know, I'm big on no contact. Okay. So I had to start going no contact with those people who, you know, if it's my daughter's graduation, why are you coming in, or my daughter's prom, you know, when the kids graduate and they're all dressed up, and then you come in dressed up like you going to the prom, taking the attention off the kids. You know, I'm not inviting you. I'm gonna send you some pictures of the event and tell you we had a great time without you. Okay? Because everybody doesn't deserve to be in your space, especially if they secretly hating on you. Have you ever have you ever walked in a room and the room get quiet? They was laughing when you pulled up. When you was outside that door, they was laughing. And then when you walked in, the room got quiet. Well, what you laughing at? Because I want to laugh too. That's because the actual main character done walked in. And see, sometimes your light can be so bright, people can't stand it. People can't stand it. I was just talking about that today. People can't stand it. They see the anointment on your life. They see that you unbothered. You're not worried about what other people say. Somebody told me the other day they were so proud of me because they know that I don't care about what people say about me because I post the real on my social media. They told me to keep going. Keep going. I'm at a stage in my life to where I'm not worried about what people think about me. I'm not worried about being the main character. I'm the main character in my life, in my story. Okay? If somebody else has an event, I go support that person. If you my friend, if I roll with you and I rock with you, I'm coming to support. Okay? No hate. It's enough room at the top for everybody. It's enough room at the top for everybody. Everybody can't go with you. Everybody cannot go with you. Okay? So that's what I want you guys to go take away from this podcast today, is recognizing when a person has this main character syndrome and realizing that you don't have to tolerate that. You don't have to deal with it. It's a evil spirit. It's jealousy, it's envy, and it's just negative. Who wants to be around that type of atmosphere? Not me. I don't. So you guys, before I get off of here, I'm gonna do the cards again because I like the cards, and I made some new cards. Okay, so stay the main character in your own story. Don't let nobody take your shine. Don't let nobody dumb you down and keep you small. You guys keep shining and keep being the main character in your story. So let's go ahead and get into these cards. We're gonna I made some new cards, you guys. And we're gonna go through, not all of them, but we're gonna go through some of them. Did anybody see the Michael Jackson or Michael this weekend? I went to go see it yesterday, guys. What do you guys think about Michael, the buyout? I liked it. I'm a big, huge Michael Jackson fan. I didn't like the way it ended. But overall, I'll give it an 8.5. 8.5. Okay. Okay, this first card says, I'm not available for confusion. Okay. So that goes into what we were just talking about with this main character syndrome. I'm not available for confusion. Because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to just stir up some mess, confusion, chaos. You know, when they say misery loves company, I never knew how much misery loved company. If you're a miserable person, you tend to talk about people. You tend to start mess. You tend to always be the center of chaos. You seem to you're the main character, and when it comes to just being messy, just being messy. Okay, that's it confusion, confusion. I'm not available for confusion. Okay, this next card, it says done. I'm done with that shit. It's one and done. One and done. If I even think that you have main character syndrome, I'm just going. I might be one of those ones that leave early. Okay. I'm not healing. No, I'm healing, not returning. Don't confuse the two. Okay. I'm healing, not returning. So what this card says to me is that once you've healed yourself, because a lot of people say, okay, well, once you're done healing, are you going to go back contact with your family? If there's no change behavior, if there's no accountability, why would you go back after you've healed yourself? Why would you go back? Ice cold. Ice cold. A lot of people have told me that I could appear to be very, very cold hearted. But when you've gone through um, spiritual warfare, and you're the very people that that birthed you and raised you and have been around you all your life, these are people who you think have your best interests at heart. When they have tried to sabotage you and make your life a living hell, you you might become cold-hearted. You try so hard not to let situations change who you are at your core, but it's hard. That's the part. That's why it's called a journey. That's why it's a healing journey, because some days I could be ice cold. Some days I could be, you know, missing my family, because I do miss my family. I miss the good parts, the good times, not the disrespect, definitely not the abuse. But I'm human, you know. I miss my family. I do, but I'm not. I don't miss the disrespect. So that outweighs, you know, me missing them. I could hold on to those good times, because if there's no, like I said, if there's no accountability and no change behavior, then, you know, I have to keep on my journey. I'm over it. Over it. Over it. That's self-explanatory. Over all the main character syndrome people, all the disrespect. I'm cold because I had to be. I'm cold because I had to be. See, people who are very, very empathetic, like I consider myself an empath, and we are very, very much targeted as far as I don't want to say abuse. We are targeted because we are empathetic, and we could be so loyal that we're loyal to a fault, and you could be loyal to the wrong people. When people say they love hard, I never thought that that was me, but it actually really is me. So that's the reason why you stay so long. When you've been abused, you can get mad at yourself because you stayed so long. But the reason why you stayed so long is that you're loyal. And see, your abuser knows that you are loyal, so they kind of use that to kind of string you along, like, oh yeah, she's just going to keep on accepting the abuse because she's so loyal. So what I have to say to them is, I'm over it. I'm over it. Okay. And I ain't explaining shit. I'm not explaining anything, because I'm not going to explain myself to people who are committed to misunderstanding me. I'm not explaining nothing. What makes you think I owe you an explanation? Keep God first. And I'm talking to me. Keep God first. Because guess what? He was there with me the entire time. He's there with you. He's going to be there. He ain't going nowhere. Keep God first, and everything else is going to fall into line. People say, well, God don't want you to be no contact with your family. God can remove people from your life to bless, in order to bless you. And sometimes that might be your family. My truth does not change based on who agrees with it. My truth does not change based on who agrees with it. You notice how you talk to some people and their story could be a little bit off. Like, that's not what you said to homeboy, or that's not what you said to old girl. My story don't change based on who I'm talking to. I know my truth. My truth doesn't change just because someone denies it. Okay? Just because you denied it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Abusers don't raise their hand and say, hey, look, I'm an abuser. Look over here. Hey, I'm an abuser. They're not going to raise their hands and tell you that they're an abuser. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Y'all, these cards is what helps me through my healing journey. Unapologetic. So you have to be unapologetic, okay? I used to be a person who apologized for everything. Like, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. You know, I was always apologizing. Like apologizing for even being there, like apologizing for being in your way, or excuse me, or over explaining myself. That's the sign of somebody that's been abused. You're always trying to explain yourself. Nope. I ain't explaining shit no more. Nope. 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 Double nope. I do not engage with pressure disguised as concern. Okay, this is good. Okay, because when people try to, like when somebody done pissed you off, and they know they done pissed you off, they're gonna try to reach out to you, acting like they're concerned about you, acting like, well, we're just worried about you. We haven't heard from you. You know why you ain't heard from me. You already know. So I'm not engaging in that. Okay. Because you don't exist in this chapter of my life. This is a new chapter. We turning the page on that old shit. We turning the page. Okay. And I'm the main character in this book. Not no supporting actress, not no extra. I'm not the extra. I'm the main character. Okay? I don't lose people. I lose illusions. Illusions. Oh, that's deep. That's a good card. Okay. Boundaries. Y'all hear me more than once or twice. I'm gonna talk about boundaries. About standing on your boundaries. If somebody disrespects you because you have boundaries, or somebody is upset because you have boundaries, that's the reason why you had to make a boundary in the first place. Any grown person can make a boundary. All you have to do is respect it. I don't take things personal. I take notes. Okay. That's just like when those people was trying to be the main character in my birthday party, when the girl blew out the cake. I just took a mental note of that. And then I started looking at patterns of behavior. I started paying attention to, well, she don't never call me, but I always call her. And when I call her, she got to either call me back or she can't talk right now. Okay? Or the only time she calls you is if it's for some bad news. Pay attention to people who only call you when it's bad news. Pay attention to people who only call you when they heard somebody was talking shit about you. I'm not ignoring you. I just don't see the value anymore. If I don't see the value in our relationship, I'm not ignoring you. I don't have time. If you're not bringing value into my life, if we're not talking about something positive, if we're not trying to make money together, if we're not talking about financial literacy, we're not talking about fixing your credit, we're not talking about how to recognize patterns of behavior, toxic relationships, something that's going to benefit me or you, then I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Let me see. I see patterns clearly now. I see patterns so clearly now. I survived. I survived. That's more than a lot of people can say, because a lot of people are still going through it. A lot of people didn't make it. If it costs me my peace, it costs too much. This shit is too high. And if I can't put no payment plan, they need to bring layaway back. But I ain't buying it, even if it's on layaway. My peace, if it costs me my peace, it costs too much. I don't want it. I don't want it. Okay, so my silence is final. My silence is final. When I stop talking, it's a wrap. I'm done. I'm done. I am not the problem. I am not the problem. When you're dealing with a toxic person, we just had a card talking about illusion.